Hi, so in this video we are going to structure our server side, and let's get started. Let me remove this. It was just for testing purpose. And now we are going inside the server, we are going to create a folder called routes. So all the routes will be here, like user routes, product routes, and inside that routes currently we will create user routes.js. So we want to get the express equals to require press const router equals to express dot router. And also, before we forget to export it, we have to export it like this. So what we want to do, we want this file to be as clean as possible, so that's why we have created a route. So any API which is hit by from the front end will come up here, and then it will route to this particular file. How? Like this. So we are gonna say app.use say /API/users, means all the APIs which have API/users should be okay. Register, let me just quickly, I know I haven't created that yet, but register user, sorry, user routes. What is user routes? It's here. We have to import that. Const user routes equals to require dot backslash routes and user routes. So what we are doing, when we get any call from which has API/user, we are redirecting it to this particular file, and in here we will define all of our functions like register and then login and get user and user list, maybe, etc. So for now I'm just gonna create the register user. So let's just start with register user equals to request response, and I'm gonna say const, I'm gonna get the body, I'm gonna get the elements from the body, and what we are sending from the front end, we will send for register name, email and password. So before going on, I would like to go to the front end to just create a simple API call to this particular route. So we will go from here to inside our client modules, app, my app and app.html. We're gonna copy this and paste it again, and we will say register user just for testing purpose. Right now I'm not gonna create the whole form, we will create it separately in our upcoming videos. So it's gonna call a simple function handle register, and inside that handle register we will copy this out and paste it here, and we will say API/users. So API/users, it will come up here, API/user, and it will route to this particular user route, and the method will be post, and we are gonna say an email. Currently we are sending dummy data, but in the future we will be sending the form submitted data. shirbaz@gmail.com, and password, currently we will save the password as is, but in future we will encrypt it and save it in the database. So I guess that's it from the front end side, and now we only go back to the so we are sending the name, email and password. Okay, that's password from the front end, and we are destructuring it from the request.body. Now first we have to import our user model. slash model slash user model. So from this user model, which is in here in the model, there are multiple functions provided which we can use to check if that particular uh, user already exists or we want to save that. So we can do that with the help of this user model. So we will say find user using this user model, user dot find one, and we will provide the email. So email will be unique in our system. So if user is found, it means that user is already registered with this particular email. So we want to throw an error. Rest.status should be 400. Rest.json, we're gonna send the JSON and we're gonna send is error equals to true, and the message will be user already exists with this email. And we will also console.log in here, so we get the message in our terminal too. And we are gonna return. We don't want anything else if the user is found. Also, another thing, we have to put await in here so that we will await for that, and if we are using await, we have to use async in here. And it's giving us the error like register is declared but value is never used. It's the best practice is using the prettier format. We are gonna fix that issue soon, but we can ignore it for now. Okay, if the user is not found, then we want to create a new user. So we're gonna say new user is equals to user dot create, and we have to pass the object. We have to pass the name. We can use like this, like name field in the model. Let me just show you. Here is the name field, email field, and the password, but we can use like this. So name equals to this name, and email equals to this email, password equals to this particular password, and when we are doing such things, we should use try and catch in order to get any kind of errors. So we're gonna say, okay, if there's any kind of error, then just throw that error in our console, and we are gonna say json dot stringify that error particular. We are also gonna say status to 500 maybe. JSON is error true, message will be error. So if there's any kind of error, we are sending the response status as 500 and is error true, and message will be the error itself. And we have to, I think we have to await for it to create a user in our MongoDB Atlas. After that, if new user is created successfully, then we'll say we have to respond with res.status equals to 201, something is created, res.json, and we are gonna send each and everything. I'm gonna use underscore ID because in MongoDB Atlas it is predefined. We can get it like this. It will give us the should like this, and I'm gonna send the name with new user.name, and I'm gonna send the email with new user.email, and no, password is not required. And I'm also gonna log that in here, new user registered, or I would say created. Else, if there's any kind of issues or there may be something, then we are gonna say res dot status 500 400 or 500 and res dot json is error equals to true, and message will be error in creating user, and that should be because of invalid data maybe. So that's it, I guess, for the registered user. So what we are going to do in this particular file, let me just quickly show you what we are doing in the api.js. Whenever you get a hit on this particular route, we will route it to this user route, and we will provide what methods to get. Well, app.post for the router for the post method, and we are gonna say slash because the it will be on API slash users, so we are going to use slash, and we will use this register user. So what we are thinking, whenever an API is hit from the front end with this particular route API slash users with the post method, then it's for the register user, and we are calling that register user in our router.post here. So it looks a little bit clean now, otherwise we have to create all the functionalities in a single file. That would be a messy. And now let's just quickly check it out if our functionality is working fine or not. npm run watch, or is give us some kind of errors, so we're gonna fix it. No errors from the server side, MongoDB connected, and in our Atlas, MongoDB Atlas, I am in the LWC e-commerce users. Currently, if I say reload data, there are no users right now. Starting the build process, Looker server running on 301. So it should show us these two buttons, one for the handle register and click to connect. It's gonna take a while. So yeah, it's shown up here, and let me just quickly show you up the console. So if there's any kind of error, we will see it here and in the our terminal too. So if I click on register, what should happen? This particular body will be sent to the server, and server it will get api.js will get it, and it will route it to this particular user route, and inside this user route we are gonna say router.post, and it will use this register user method which we have created, and inside that we have implemented the functionality of creating a user in MongoDB Atlas. So when I click on this, okay, response, there are no errors in here, and if we go in here, we see this new user created which was on the line, yeah. So it means that we are successfully able to create a new user inside our MongoDB. And for confirmation, we will go in here MongoDB Atlas and reload data, and you can see that we are successfully able to get the data from front end to our database using the Express server and MongoDB Atlas. And so I guess that's it from this particular video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much. I would like to go to the front end side of our application and implement the routing, which will allow our app to be a single page application to perform as a single page application. Like if we are not using the routing of the Salesforce of the LWC, which LWC router provides, it will act as a normal application, and when we click on some kind of link, then the page will get refreshed. We don't want that. We don't want our page to be refreshed, but still we want an entry in our browser history, and also we want to change the URL link to that particular link which we want to go. So for that, first what we have to do, we have to stop our server, and we have to install a package called router, LWC route. So before writing it down, we can take a look at it. npm LWC router, and here is that package which we have to install. I'm gonna copy that, npm install at LWC router. After installation completes, now the next step is we have to go to the lwc.config, and for module resolution we have to add that in here. So we are gonna write npm router. So that's it from this file. We can close it now. Now the next step is, and then we are going to confirm that we are using the synthetic shadow or not. Yes, we are using the synthetic shadow. I guess we have imported that in our one of our previous videos, so that part is also done. So it was the another step, and another step which we have to take. Now we have to update the public path for build, and for that we have to create a file which is called webpack.config.json. Sorry, it must be JS, not JSON file. It should be a JSON file, and in here we are going to update that. So we're going to say module.exports is equals to output, and inside the output we are going to update the public path, and by default it's dot slash, but we have to convert it into slash so that our routing takes care. Module is not defined. Okay, I earlier told you that we have to do a few things in order to get rid of these errors, and we will do that in our upcoming video, but not in this one, so we can ignore that. So that's it from the webpack.config.js, and now we have to use this webpack.config in our build commands in the package.json, and in our commands like we are using watch, and we use build and build development. So here we have to add that webpack.config.js. So we'll write -w webpack.config.js, and we are going to copy that for build and for the build development. So I guess we are done with the all kind of configurations and all these steps. Now we just have to go to our components, and inside our modules and inside our main component, which is app component, we are going to use we will use the LWC router component. It's basically a wrapper component, and all of the components which we need to route, we need to wrap all with this one. Like we will say we have a component called my greeting, so it needs to be wrapped inside it here, and I'll show you how in a minute how we can create links with the help of LWC link. So if we run right now our application, it will show my greetings inside our app component, but we don't want that. We want a link, and that link should take us to the my greeting, and we want another link which will take back us to the app component or maybe another component. So let's just quickly create a new component like testing component, and inside this testing I have to create a testing.js and testing HTML, testing, and we can copy the and we have to change that to testing. So our testing component is also ready, so we can test it out, and it will just show the testing. And in our greeting component we will get this some kind of okay, So let me say greeting. So we are sure that it's rendering properly. So the thing which we have to use LWCE link, just like a anchor tag, and it takes a parameter called path, and in which we will define like maybe greeting, and it should be exact. Inside that we can create that, and another link, and inside here we will say testing, and it should be testing. So when the path is slash greeting, it should show us the greeting component, and when the path is slash testing, it should show us the testing component. Sorry, it should be route, and link, which we will provide those links up here, so we can click on them, and we will say LWCE/link, and we will say take us to the greeting page, greeting link, and so we are going to copy that, and we will say testing link, and inside, and just like the anchor tag. Okay, so it stopped due to somehow sorry for the inconvenience. Just like the anchor tag, we had that href component, and we will say slash greeting, so take us to the greeting, and similarly href is equals to take us to the testing. So I guess that's it, and now we have to check it out if it's working properly or not. So we have to say npm run watch, so it's listening to localhost 301, and it should show us those link, and when we click on greeting link, it's not showing up, and on the testing link, it's also not showing up. So we have to perform some things. So sorry, we were making a mistake, and we have to put those links inside that LWC router, and below that we will say HR and HR, so we know that our components are rendering properly. So now we can save that, and now when we run npm run watch, it should work now. It says using custom configuration from webpack.config, and it's here our greeting link and the testing link. When we click on greeting link, it takes us to the greeting, and it also shows the greeting component, and that this component is already showing that from the greeting. Let me just quickly show you the HTML, this thing, yeah, this one. And when we click on the testing link, the URL changes without refresh of the page, and it shows us the testing page. So we have covered the routing in our LWC app. It was a little bit tricky, we have to go to multiple places and fix things, but finally we are done with that. So I hope I'll meet you in the next video. Thank you so much.